Sewer overflowing onto the floor of the bathrooms at Untalan Middle School. Pictures taken, says Governor Calvo, on Wednesday, a day after a student at Untalan was injured when she slipped and fell on the floor. Photos taken the same day that some school officials told a legislative roundtable there was no need to move Untalan because repairs could be made without closing the school.
I want you to note those bathrooms, again, within the same day as these folks are having their meeting and saying everything is hunky-dory in Untalan Middle School. And I want to ask them, would they use these bathrooms?
Bottom line, when the governor heard the reports about Senator Pangalinan's Wednesday roundtable at which some testified that moving Untalan to Tidzin was not necessary, he says he decided to act.
He asked whether you need to move, and of course there were some opinions given by members of the board.
He said no.
And said no. We did know that, of course, that there was an accident that occurred the day before. So one of the things we did, of course, is, hey, if you're asking for the experts, then let's get the experts in. Let's get public health to take a look at it. Now, whether it was the right time or not, I think we did the prudent thing. The only thing I do regret is maybe I shouldn't have been as collegial as I have been over the past 12 months. A lot of this stuff should have been fixed a long time ago.
The governor explained that he acted because neither the legislature or the education board did, blaming them in particular for their failure to spend $60 million in ERA funding on repairing the schools that needed repairs.
I asked the question, why hasn't $1 been spent yet of that ERA funding to repair schools such as Untalan Middle School? I have been patient, but there comes a point in time when patience has to be overridden by action as a result of inaction by those that are tasked to either oversee the policies of the Department of Education.
But what about the lease agreement for Cortex Tidzin campus? $5 million in tax credits every year for the next 12 years.
I believe our legal team negotiated the best deal we could. And I stand by that negotiation price.
But couldn't you build a new school along the lines of JFK in the same way?
Probably. And again, but I probably, if you do recall, the statements that, this is what we have. We have, again, statements made from Department of Education Board and management for desire to use that facility for education purposes.
And what about the option to buy for $125 million at an interest rate of 7.19%? That must be financed by Cortec itself. Is that a good deal for the people?
That is why we were given, and we put in that provision there, 2 years for an option to buy. It's an option to buy.
And that made a decision yet.
Yeah, there's no decision made. Just because you put an option to buy doesn't mean you're going to do it.
Governor Calvo is making no apologies for the lease agreement or the closure of Untalan Middle School.
And I thought it was perfectly appropriate, especially when we got wind about the accident that had occurred. So you have a young child that slips in a wet floor and gets injured. I think it is time, especially if the major policymakers appear to think that nothing is wrong and everything is safe.
What now? When do the Untalan kids get back to school?
That's a question you now have to ask Department of Education, since they've been graded and they have the responsibility of ensuring that those demerits are cleared.
Kevin Kerrigan, PNC News.